Hello, welcome to Kush News, the newscast of the African diaspora. I'm your anchor, Ochanda, daily bringing you the top stories from Africa and the Caribbean. Let's take a look at today's news on Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. We go to Kenya, where protests resume on Tuesday. Fresh protests flared again in several Kenyan cities, with demonstrators facing heavy police presence. In the capital, Nairobi, police fired tear gas at protesters after they set fires on the main road running through the center of the city and threw stones at police in the central business district. A peculiar protest, to say the least. One scene occurred along Moi Avenue in Nairobi as demonstrators carried and dropped empty coffins. The symbolic act was meant to mourn Kenyans who lost their lives during the ongoing protests. More than 10 coffins lined with white linen blocked the road. As the protests entered their third week, the demonstrators used the coffins to draw attention to their cause, mourning the deceased and creating a powerful visual statement. Kenya's NTV live stream showed hundreds of protesters walking the streets of Mombasa, Kenya's second largest city. They waved palm leaves, blew on plastic horns, beat drums, and called out the president with chants of "Ruto must go." Smaller cities also had rallies taking place in Kisumu, Nakuru, and Nyeri. Bottom line is, young Kenyans are angry. Activists have called for another round of demonstrations, even though President William Ruto caved to pressure and abandoned signing the controversial finance bill back on June 26th. The finance bill contained several tax hikes, including taxes on bread and cooking oil. Ruto's withdrawal of the bill followed deadly demonstrations in the capital a day earlier. According to the government-funded Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, 39 people have been killed with 361 injured during the 2 weeks of demonstrations. Speaking on Sunday, Ruto also invited the youth for a dialogue to address their issues. President Ruto was elected back on September of 2022 and campaigning on promises to lower the cost of living and creating jobs for young people. Young Kenyans, specifically Gen Z, are generally more educated than their parents, but the vast majority of jobs in the informal sector are none or slim but few, leaving the country with around 80% of the working poor, meaning that people don't earn enough to give themselves and their families a decent living. Kenyan politicians are the second highest paid in the world, according to numbers from the GDP. Those in Kenya, let us know on what do you think about the ongoing protests, especially this Tuesday. Were you involved? Also, are you a police officer? Whether you're a protester or a police officer, we want to hear from you. Reach out to us, and if you want your identity to remain hidden, we can make it happen. We go to Mauritania, where the president wins a second term. Mauritania's President Mohamed Ould Cheikh El Ghazouani has secured a re-election with a comfortable margin, gathering around 56% of the vote. The results were announced by the Electoral Commission yesterday. Mauritanians went to the polls on Saturday to choose between 7 different candidates. Overall turnout was estimated about 55%. After all votes were counted, the Independent National Electoral Commission, known as CENI, Ghazouani won the election with more than 56% of the vote. That puts him well ahead of the country's main opposition leader, Biram Abid. Abid said on Sunday that he would not recognize the results of the president's win. He also added that we will only recognize our own results and therefore take to the streets. He insisted their response would be peaceful, calling on the army and the security forces to not follow the orders of the president's regime. Some of his supporters demonstrated in the capital, burning tires and disrupting traffic. The opposition had, however, contested the legislative elections just a year ago, which was won by the current president's party. They say that the current Mauritanian government has set up a national election monitoring body, which the opposition has denounced as a tool for manipulating the ballot. In second place, the opponent and human rights activist Biram Abid had already in the last presidential election, and according to him, the results could be false and manipulated. He accuses the Electoral Commission of being used by those in power and having committed fraud. At the end of Sunday's afternoon, Abid's campaign headquarters were surrounded by security forces, according to reports. The police presence in the capital also increased significantly throughout the day. A 2019 election brought Gauzani to power, marking the first transition between two elected presidents since independence from France back in 1960. The Sahel region in recent years has had a string of military coups. Mauritania has not seen an attack since 2011. The president has made helping the young a key priority in a country of 4.9 million people, where almost 75% are reported to be under the age of 35. Those in Mauritania, let us know your thoughts, and congratulations to the president, Gauziani. Let's go to Mozambique, where they reach out to China for military intervention. Mozambique and China intend to deepen military cooperation, a moment when the Mozambique government is looking for strategic support to fight terrorists who have been plaguing parts of the northern province of Cabo Delgado. According to the Chinese Defense Ministry, back on Monday in Beijing, they said deepening military cooperation with Mozambique is a strategic importance. According to the Chinese ministry, China is willing to work with Mozambique to implement the consensus in strengthening ties in various fields and raise military relations to a new level. In 2016, China and Mozambique signed a comprehensive strategic partnership and cooperation agreement aimed at strengthening contracts between the two countries' army, police, and intelligence services. China also agreed to strengthen Mozambique's defense capacity, as well as training military personnel. Those in Mozambique, let us know your thoughts on the government reaching out to China for military support. Let's go to the Caribbean and end it there. We go to and we look at Hurricane Beryl and the destruction it has caused so far. Grenada and St. Vincent and the Grenadines continue to grapple with the aftermath of Hurricane Beryl. Many nations, organizations, and charities have pledged their resources to help wherever and whenever possible. In Trinidad, a large fishing vessel owned by island hoppers is planning to deliver relief goods to the island of Caracau. Citizens are invited to donate the following items: water, clean drinking water, water purification tablets, portable water filters. As far as food, non-perishable items such as canned goods, dry grains, high-energy snacks. Shelter, such as tents, tarps, and plastic sheeting for temporary housing. Clothing, warm clothing, blankets, and sleeping bags. As far as medical supplies, first aid kits, bandages, antiseptics, and medical tape. Medications are being requested as far as essential medicines, including antibiotics, pain relievers, and medications for chronic conditions. Sanitation is needed as well: portable toilets, hand sanitizers, hygiene kits like soaps, toothbrushes, and toothpaste. As far as tools and equipments, needed is generators, portable generators, and fuel to provide temporary power, solar-powered or battery-powered lanterns and flashlights, and basic tools for repairs such as like hammers, power drills, nails, saws, etc. Communication devices that are needed are satellite phones and radios and batteries. Additional supplies that are needed are baby supplies, diapers, baby formula, and baby food, masks, gloves, and protective clothing as well. One of the other items that's overlooked often is mosquito nets to protect against borne diseases that mosquitoes may carry. Also beddings, inflatable mattresses, pillows. Those in the Caribbean. Let us know your thoughts on the destruction of Hurricane Beryl. Also, if you're in those areas of Grenada or St. Vincent and the Grenadines, our thoughts and hopes go out to you guys from Kush News. We will be leaving description links in the description box below on this video if you would like to do your part. We go and end it in Anguilla, where visas for Guyanese citizens have been waived. Anguilla has removed the visa requirement for citizens of Guyana. Anguilla's Minister of Home Affairs, Kenneth Hodge, made the announcement on Monday. A decision to remove visas for Guyanese took place on June 27th at the Executive Council meeting. The visa waiver goes into immediate effect. This is good news for Guyanese nationals who usually are required visas to visit territories in the Caribbean that are under the United Kingdom. Guyana is presently in talks with the British Virgin Islands and Canada and the European Union to ease their visa requirements. Those in Anguilla. Congratulations. That's pretty awesome. Having another Caribbean country not require visas to enter in. When we come back, we'll have today's African proverb of the day. Don't go anywhere. Hey, we are at Taste of Africa Omaha. We are out and about getting interviews as well as eating good food, drinking good drinks. And we always have heavyweight interviews. Who are you guys?
Yeah. Highly spiritual. Allez, suivez le guide. Allez, suivez le guide.
Le meilleur.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at today's African proverb of the day. It comes to us from the Ashanti. And it reads, you must act as if it's impossible to fail. Once again, you must act as if it's impossible to fail. Ashanti proverb. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep going. I knew a couple guys that from my past, this is more just how they just went through life. And it's almost as if they were just never scared of getting rejected, talking to women, applying for jobs, starting their own businesses. They just never had that fear. And it was something that was admirable. Even up until now, I don't know what those guys are doing, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are at the pinnacles of wherever their destiny is for them. And that's how you have to act. Let me know your interpretation of today's African proverb of the day, as well as your thoughts, views, questions, comments, and concerns on the top stories. Don't forget to hit that like button. Make it your best friend. For Kush News on Kush Convos TV, I'm Ochanda. We'll see you soon.